Good morning. Good morning. Sending you all warm, positive greetings. This is Body-Culinary, aka Kwasa Peaceful Eating, and I just wanted to check in very quickly as I'm moving about and working to get things done. Just to invite you to take a moment, just simply to relax. I know this seems overly simple. I'm always talking about relaxation. Doesn't have to be a big production. I feel greetings, sending warm positive vibes. That there's so much going on. I think we can really underestimate how good relaxation can make us feel. I think I even smile when I think about it. And I invite you to surround yourself with things that are beautiful. So I was listening to the birds, sometimes in the quiet. I think sometimes in the city we may not even notice, but just the sounds of birds. I just felt this like for a moment. I just felt so blessed, and all I'm doing is just listening, right? And for people that say, "Oh, I love your lifestyle," like a lifestyle is what you choose to make of it. Whatever tools you have accessible to you, whatever home space that you happen to live in, whether that's a room, an apartment, or a house, you can choose to make it beautiful with cuttings of plants, by quieting down your environment, by decluttering, which I invite you to do when you're listening to these videos. I'm not going to be on long today, but I wanted to share something with folks always talking about your lifestyle, my lifestyle. I'm just choosing to be a little quiet. I can be very loud. I like music. There's duality. I'm not this perfect human being. However, everybody has their aesthetic. And by the way, this is my style quickie today. And as you can see my hair, the beads of water usually and much more, they have been sitting on top of my hair, so they don't really penetrate. So today I invite you, right? Things that we have access to that are free. There's some really, really beautiful videos of nature that are shot in, I guess they call it high resolution 4K. And they are absolutely stunning. So you can find these on if you have several devices or one, you can put it on maybe your iPad or one of the phones that's not so stylish anymore. And I invite you while you're working or moving around the house, or maybe perhaps you have one of those big flat screen TVs, to perhaps put nature, sounds of nature, and also some visuals. I find it, not only is it relaxing, the sounds, but actually the visuals, right? The visuals, I find them very humbling. When you look at little birds or you look at the magnificence of nature, I find that it's a way of being very intentional around programming yourself. And I'm not trying to sound spookadook or, mystic, but literally, I submit to, and you can disagree if you like, respectfully, our brains are highly malleable and we're very easily influenced. So why not influence yourself and maybe just check in to notice like how you feel, if you feel more calm. So this is an example of one, and I think I need to turn it down so that I'm not flagged. But I just want you to just think of like the visuals and like how it makes you feel. Let's see if it will play. This is one. Let's see if it will play. And these are it's just nature, right? And you can put it, there's a lot of glare from my window. It's like the coral reefs in nature. Like some of them have toucans and it's shot in such high density, right? Just being down around in nature. I have some folks that are going to be visiting soon. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? We laugh at our lips. Are you going to go laugh at this fish's lips? That's the fish's lips. That's the lips they got. You think the fish are talking about, I wish I didn't have these lips? I put in an order yesterday. I can't wait to get it. Yes, was that you? Okay, I just sent a message this morning. Actually, all of those pieces, these are all hand cut, and they're just little things to just remind me to celebrate myself. So I'm very intentional to the best of my ability about making the best use of what I have accessible to me, from celebrating my hair and being creative with this non-tight style, to putting plants around myself, to this morning as I was studying, I said, pause. I took the computer into an area of some clothes I needed to fold and to practice decluttering or being productive when I'm on the internet, because it's like we can flow into a hypnotic state. And some of it, a lot of it can have us really on edge. I have never heard so much acknowledgement and so much talk of anxiety, in particular with young folks. Greetings, greetings. So there is so much, you hear young people and people really acknowledging this new generation. They're saying like, I'm anxious. I have anxiety problems. And one time, I'm the type of person I would have never acknowledged that. But what I can say, I don't like to claim things, but I am cognizant and I'm aware that scrolling through the internet or constant things with the politicians or disasters, that I am affected. So I make an effort to be protective of my peace of mind, because not having peace of mind will have you acting out, sabotaging yourself or medicating yourself in a whole myriad of ways that are totally illogical in order to calm yourself down and to take the edge off. So surrounding yourself with the sounds of nature, with the visuals of nature, even if it's on in the background, you might be walking by and just capture, get a glimpse of a fish or some toucans or something. And along with that, just taking just a couple of seconds just to be very intentional around deep breathing. And sometimes it may seem silly, whatever. Sometimes I'll just put my hand on my chest, because just that touch just reminds me that I am in this physical shell having this experience. And I know this experience is impermanent. Everybody right now in this live, we are going to expire sooner or later. I won't be here anymore. We will not be communicating with these computers in the flesh. We won't. I don't know what it looks like on the other side. So sometimes I'll touch my chest or this cavity just to remind me, to bring me back into the present. I look for any excuse to bring myself into the present, because there's so much hypnotically, very powerfully drawing us, our consciousness, our attention into another direction. Where it's almost like, we could say zombie-like, but just not present. It's not as intellectual as we are, as much as we want to say we're nice people. I am humbled by just how much we go in and out of consciousness per se, but out of conscious awareness of what we're doing, and very robotically. So we won't look up at the architecture. We won't look up at the sunshine. And I find there's a mentality that goes along with it. Like if you just listen, it's like paying attention. For example, like with the anxiety, I find a trail of thoughts come with it. I can't do this, and lack of possibilities. It's almost like it's energetically, or like I don't know if I want to call it a consciousness or a stream of thoughts that go in line with not being present, and with being anxiety or comparing. There's something there that's almost, if I had to really take the time to describe it, but it's a feeling. It's not a beautiful feeling, I could tell you that. It's not a peaceful feeling. It's not a calming feeling. It's a jittery kind of feeling. And I think even words are limited. But I invite you to just take notice of, if you are kind of ignorant of nature and of the sounds of whatever environment you're in. Even when I was in more of a city-fied area, I could distinguish the birds, because from getting up early, from the moment when I would start to hear more cars or sirens on the street. So I have a tendency for many, many, many years. I adore the early morning. And then I think of, like, I notice, like, from the moment there's a lot of noise and people start talking and phone starts ringing and demands are placed on you, it's almost like it switches off, right? If you're a mom, you may or may not notice. Children can bring you back to present and their innocence, which is why I'm very big on protecting children and us not projecting our human thought process, right? Our jaded thought processes onto children. Children can bring you into the present. So I invite you, if you have children, allow them to help you to play, to switch the channel, the frequency of thought that went on. I know my son would say, "Mommy, let's do this," or even older, sometimes he would come to get me when I was training clients and say, "Mom, I want to take you to this park." And I'm like, "Oh, I got to do this. I got to do that." He was like, "You always showing me something. Let me show you something." I said, "You know what? He's right." Then my son has me doing backflips, sometimes falling on the floor, or taking me to an area by the promenade, to this new area of the park, or having me go on this whole long hike through the Botanic Gardens. I didn't even realize how big the Botanic Gardens were, and taking me to all these waterfalls. I'm like, how did you find this, son? And he was doing it. He just went through the park on his bicycle. So the bicycle, even though he was resistant, I gave him a bicycle for his birthday. Well, not his birthday, a graduation gift. And then he gave the gift right back to me. So greetings. So shout out Sunny Ray. Love One Way, Rose Bell, Uniquely Beautiful. I invite you to enjoy your children, or if you have children, accessible to you. I know there's so many women out there, and folks say, I don't have no children. I get it. I get it. I get it. You say you don't have any children. But I think perhaps you could be missing out on holding space for a young person, even some that are older. Maybe, perhaps it could help you heal aspects of yourself that you may feel like you missed out on because you didn't get certain experiences. Holding space for someone, or maybe coming up out of your pockets to maybe support someone in something healthy, of course, but something healthy and something beautiful, like holding space for a young person, your ear, or like for a little girl, sometimes I might buy, like, I'm very into packaging of food and carrying your own food, right? It's a principle I live by. So I'll buy them. I love buying exquisite little containers and lunch packs. So you can feel very much like a little girl, a little young lady as you're carrying, you whip out your food, these beautiful flowery containers that are spill proof, gifting a young lady, or taking them to the botanical garden, or mixing shea butter, something, and young men too. Let's not forget about young men, because I used to like to play with my son, or I'd put on a Rasta hat when I didn't have locks, and I'd be rhyming while we're doing the homework together. And yes, it made the homework take a long time, but homework I found could be very torturous. So I always think about having good memories. I think when I close my eyes, I'm likely not to be thinking about my outfits, right? I prioritize like really good memories. Those are some of the best moments of my life, is my son sneaking me into his hip hop dance class, taking capoeira with my son, seeing different things geographically, but moments with people, those are some of my most joyous moments. And a lot of times there were times where I got an opportunity to travel and see different things when I was by myself, when I didn't have a lot of fiat in my pocket. But honey, I had my trail mix from the food co-op. I had my bring my own food. I had some little sneakers and some bands and a dress that I could wash in the sink. And that has allowed me to stand in front of the Sphinx and, to travel different places. Sometimes I can't even remember all the places that I've traveled to, or that I wound up in, so there are experiences we can have. Also, if you live in a city, I would say one of the beautiful things about New York City, or the city, I absolutely adore Prospect Park. I adore the Botanic Garden. I adore the food co-op with all the mixtures of people and being thrown in this working experiment where we all have to encounter each other, trading recipes, admiring each other's children, packing the produce together. Those are things, even training with different people, right? Working in restaurants with different kinds of chefs. Once I was working at the same time with a Trinidadian chef and a Sicilian chef at the same time. And then working for the airlines with different groups of people that wanted me to ask, can I ask you this question? I was like, sure, girl, shoot. With Italian, somebody from Hawaii, all of these different people. So somehow these have been some of my greatest memories, right, is with human beings. And I really adore learning from people. I would also say the more I have matured, the more I have learned how much we can project different things that we're going through onto other people. I've had my moments of being very judgmental, but life, injury, children, illness, different job professions have all humbled me to just how much we are like. People you think that got a lot of money, people that you think are very stunningly beautiful, the insecurities that people have. These are there are memories that are my richest moments. There are some people that I have met in my travels that if I had looked at them at first glance, I might have not even thought anything about them. And then when they opened up, I was like, oh my gosh, I would have missed out on this stupendous friggin' human being. I've met some of the most beautiful people that come in a package that I could have never imagined, that I'm humbled to shut up in my brain and suspend judgment. I work with people that are conservative, Jewish, African, Indian. I mean, of course, it doesn't mean I'm a Pollyanna and you know, I don't see things, but in terms of the experience I want to have, I like having a beautiful experience. I also am very well aware of duality and things that people you care about can have the capacity to hurt you and hurt your feelings and even cause harm. So there are many things that I don't romanticize about at this time in my life. But I've been very determined. I'm not about to allow what's going on in the world to rob me of my joy. That's something my mom says. Oh, Afro saying, don't let nobody steal your joy. Because sometimes we're just sharing the state that we're in, right? In many states, they offer discounted admission to gardens, museums, parks for a mother who qualified financially. And check this out. I remember once I was in Saudi Arabia many years ago for about 3 months, and I thought I was going to make shahada and all this other stuff because I like discipline, I like religions. I thought one time I was going to go into the army, all this stuff. And I remember leaving Saudi Arabia and some experiences that I had there. I remember there was a man that seemed like not too all there in the market, and we were covered, right, because we're from the West. But I didn't have to cover my face, right? Sometimes people look like Casper, you know, totally covered and you'd only see their eyes. And I remember we didn't have to cover our face. I remember there was a man that used the N-word, ignorant, right? And I was like, wow, we came all the way across the ocean for somebody to use this word. And I thought it was so interesting how perceptions travel across the world. Yeah. That was really humbling. But I remember leaving there and thinking, like, you know what? I don't think I need to take on any more religions because I like myself, right? It's also when you travel and you live somewhere else, if you have the opportunity to live outside the United States, oh my gosh, you appreciate home. You appreciate, you know, after I left Saudi Arabia and I went back into the States, boy, I was itching to go to the African Street Festival and just to see my folks with all our stuff. I was so happy. I almost felt like I could kiss the ground. I thought I wanted to kiss the ground when I went to Africa. When I came back to New York, I wanted to kiss the ground per se. I wouldn't kiss the ground in New York. It's dirty. But all that to say, like, I missed, like, you know, seeing the Jamaican, the Caribbean neighborhood and just all the quirks, the food co-op. You know, oh my gosh. And then my soul music, honey, my Al Green and that summertime roller skating music, you really appreciate. So I really appreciate my Afro-American culture. I appreciate my Caribbean culture. That's why a lot of times I'll say Afro, because we are all of that, you know, but you appreciate sometimes when you're really away from home and you don't have access. A lot of things we complain about in the States, you don't have, may not have access to, you know, in other countries. So everywhere you live, it's a trade-off. So I'm very cognizant of making the best use of whatever environment I'm in. I remember sitting in front of the Eiffel Tower. And I remember another time sitting in Israel on a Sunday. And I remember sitting in that park. I was like, wow. I said, I've got beautiful parks at home that I'm paying tax dollars for. We complain about taxes, but we don't use the parks and the museums. So I remember thinking, you know what? When I get home, I said, I bought me a new pair of sneakers and I put them by the door. I said, I promised myself I'm going to make use of Prospect Park. Oh my God. Prospect Park to me is exquisite. That's my favorite. I think that's my favorite park. You go around that park, there's swans in that park. I was running around that park for years. Then my son introduced me to waterfalls, you know, around there. I'm like, how did you find all of this stuff? And then if you go to the park at the same time, you'll see regulars. So I had a story in my head about all the regular people. There was this one Caucasian man in a wheelchair, older, he had an outfit on that reminded me of the ashrams. He looked like a guru, but he couldn't walk. I even wonder if he's still there. So this man was so pleasant. I would see him out there, rain, sleet, shine. So I had to speak to my peeps. Then there was a guy called an Olympian athlete. This man I credited with showing me how to power walk. I would be running around or jogging around the park, and I swear this man was walking, and it seemed like he got around the park 2.5, 3 times for my one walk. Then there was the older couple, such a beautiful older couple, and they were out there just cheery, enjoying each other's company. It's like things like that. Like, these are such sweet moments. So it's like while folks are having coming into work and they're grumbling, usually I get up early, see the sunshine. I've got some kind of a movement practice. My food is prepared early in the day. Usually I have some kind of a quick dance party with some Afro house music by myself. I'm having a whole nother kind of experience, and so I find that's intentional. That's very, very intentional. So a lot of times when I'm saying create a great day on purpose, whatever is happening to you, sometimes you just got to stop. Not even sometimes. Quite often you say, you know what? I'm just going to choose to get on another channel just because I said so. I'm just going to be intentional. It's a lot of stuff happening, and I remember one of my clients, one of my African clients, shout out to you, Casey, would tell me I didn't have to have my head in the sand. I have my head in the sand all the time, or maybe I'm being too positive. And maybe I'll just put my head in the sand for a while because I'm not interested in all this other stuff, So I'm not saying to be ignorant. But yes, intentionally, sometimes I will choose to go like this in order to protect my peace of mind. There's enough stuff to freak me out, to keep you on edge, which will have you eating mindlessly, spending, putting yourself in harm's way. It's a bit much. So I invite you to turn on your little iPad or your computer. I don't know if you can see it, but to look up some of the 4K videos with there's some beautiful ones with toucans and just the sounds, the sights and sounds of nature. It's so humbling in nature, and being that our imagination is kind of being almost like hijacked by all of the stuff that's coming into it. So we'll constantly have like fears of all the stuff in our imagination where you don't feel safe, So I invite you to be very conscientious about the things that you're allowing into your psyche, and then you can pick and choose what you want to allow, because this state of being, I know people want the recipes and people want the workout, but we may not realize that we're not getting our peace of mind. The muscle of our imagination is not being flexed when it comes to imagine yourself, in the coral reef, or achieving something. Like, our imagination is being hijacked, right? And I don't underestimate. I think it has tremendous implications. So I'm sending you all some warm, positive vibrations. What are you saying? I can't stay on here very long today. Feel free to play any of the videos or the relaxation videos that I have on this channel while you're decluttering. I think that's a great use of the time. Or one of my all-time favorites, cut up some vegetables while we're chit-chatting. So y'all create a great day on purpose, and I'll see you soon. Love you too, Sunny. And somebody had made a recommendation yesterday. I wrote it down. Oh, nettle leaves. I'll get back to the nettle leaves. Let me see if I have any growing. I do use nettle leaves, and I do use tea for rinses. So uniquely beautiful. Sometimes I'll comment here after I press and sometimes I don't look to read the comments. So Charlie LaFlosse, Mirjam, and Sunny Ray, and uniquely beautiful, and love one way. Thank you so much for your positive vibrations. And Rose Bell, I'm inviting y'all, protect your peace. Slather yourself with some coconut butter, some coconut oil. Take your time in the shower. Put some sweet smelling oils on to anoint yourself. Find some beautiful containers. These are life practices. Life practices. Get your little cloth napkins, your little chopsticks, and treat yourself. And I invite you to look into the mirror and to appreciate and to sit with yourself, an appreciation of what you got, and appreciate, maybe just do a scan of your body if it's healthy and intact, and if it's not, send some positive vibration to your own way. We don't have to wait for all these passive and all these other folks outside of ourselves to acknowledge ourselves. All right. See you soon.